Hi everyone, welcome back to the Model Railroad Back Shop. I'm your host Roger Kujawa. It's April Fool's Day 2020, but the stuff I'm going to show you today is definitely not April Fool's. I call this Weathering 100. It's basic first time weathering that anybody can do. The product I brought to show you today is a company called Pan Pastels. This is almost like eyeshadow. There's no glitter in it. It's flat, so it works great on cars, locomotives. I've got two different boxes. This one has 7 different colors. And then I have this one here, the Rust and Earth, which has 7 other different colors. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to use these, how quick, and how durable it is. One of the first things I did was, since my Atlantic and Great Western doesn't have any real locomotives, it disappeared into the Erie system back in the 1880s. So there's no modern locomotives that I can use to show you how this works. So what I did is I looked on the internet and I found some pictures of some dark locomotives to see how black was weathered, because that's the primary color on my locomotives. And I found some Norfolk Southern SD40s. This one's a little bit more heavier weathered. You can see that almost the entire engine is covered with a gray. This one's a little cleaner, but more weathering down below. So you can kind of see how the different spray would come up from rain and dust along the right-of-way, how the grills are covered. This one's a little cleaner. What's nice about this stuff is you can go to a point where you like it and stop. And if you go too far, it comes off real easy. So let's get started. This Atlantic Great Western SD40-2W is modeled after the Canadian National locomotives. I just love the look of that modern cab on there. These Pan Pastels come with a variety of sponges. But to be honest with you, I haven't even messed with these yet. I started off with a variety of brushes that I got from my wife's makeup and a couple that I just found in toolboxes around. I think these are a little bit better for getting into the grills than the sponges. And I'll show you how quick this goes. Now here's the first set I have. This is the grays. Just pick a little bit up on the brush. Now don't worry about that other stuff that's falling down there, because that'll blow right off. You can see the difference already. Now kind of going with the airflow as the exhaust would come out of the stack, whether it's going forward or back. These short bristles let you really dig into these grills, kind of sets them off. This stuff does stick to you, so you might want to maybe wear some gloves or get ready to wash your hands right after this, and make sure you don't have anything else on your workbench that is you don't want to get dirty. You can see by just having this in the box with the dust coming off, how quickly these got soiled. Trucks are another thing. There's a lot of locomotives that have dark trucks, and just a little bit of this dark gray on there really brings out the detail. One thing to consider about your workbench is usually really bright. Your layout, a lot of times not so much. So a really dark locomotive will look a lot better on your layout because this is really going to bring the detail out more so than you would see on your workbench. Now a thinner brush, you can actually get down here on the walkways. And you can see, if you get a little bit on there you don't like, it comes right off. But it does stick quite a bit. Now I use different brushes for different colors. I have one for the dark grays, and then I have one for the dirt colors. So you maybe want to splash a little bit of dirt or rust on here. Now if you go too far with that, you can always come back with more dark gray and cover that up. But I think that looks pretty good. Has just a little bit of shading in there of dirt and that. Then you can also get in, do the step wells. You can see how quick this goes. A little dirt on the pilots. I don't clear coat my locomotives after this. I found this is real durable, and if I do get a fingerprint or something in it from a derailment, I can always go in and touch it up. The problem with the clear coat, once you do that, you have to put your weathering on really heavy, and once you put it on, then you're stuck with it. There's basically no going back once it's sealed under the clear coat. Now another thing you can do with this is you can paint with it. Now, I have not seen this in their instructions, but I've taken a little bit of alcohol and I just get the brush a little damp. And you can put more exhaust. Gives you more of an intense look to where the exhaust comes out. The alcohol also is a good way to clean your brush. Like I said, I don't over-weather my engines because one thing is they're dark already. And I like to keep them like they're in really good shape. So that's how quick that goes. I think it makes a world of difference. You can go in farther. You could put drips from the fuel tank down here. There's a lot of different little things you can do, but I just wanted to give you a quick rundown on how quick you can take that locomotive within about 10 minutes and really make a difference in how it looks. Here's my next locomotive. This is Walther's GP15. This is the newer paint scheme that I've been trying out. I've got it on a couple locomotives. I really like it, kind of more modern, with the bigger graphics on there, similar to the Duluth, Winnipeg, and Pacific, is where I got the idea. This one here uses kind of the same techniques as the other one, but I'll show you a little trick. I flat coat all my engines before I do this. It gives a little grip to the weathering. That flat finish is kind of rough, I guess, microscopically, and it seems to give a grip to the weathering. But before I do that, I want to mask off the windows. And the way I've easily found to do that is just put a little piece of tape on some glass. And what I do is I cut small squares and rectangles. They don't have to be exact, but instead of trying to measure that all off and fill that in with one piece, taking the time to get it right, is a bunch of little squares like this. You just pull them off and piece them in there. Same with the end windows in front. Cover up any of the clear windows that you want to keep from getting the clear coat on them, or even weathering too. If you're going to spray weathering with an airbrush as you get more advanced in this. But I'll use basic same techniques on this. It's just to get in there with the brush and kind of scrub it into the grills. This one's a little tougher because of the handrails, but different brushes will get you in there to scrub that in. And then blow that off, and you've got it in the grills, and it really sets off that model. Just that, I think, makes it look a lot more realistic. These Pan Pastels, you can buy them individually, or you can buy the sets. I haven't even dealt with most of the colors yet. That's why I'm calling this Weathering 100. This is your basic, about as basic as you can get with these. I think once you start this, then you'll be more tempted to maybe try some other techniques. Maybe even get into the oils and paints that a lot of guys use. But so many people are afraid to even try because they're afraid they're going to mess something up. But I think once you see the realism come to look on your locomotives and cars, makes such a big difference. And being able to see the detail too. And we'll go back and we'll get some more of that alcohol. Just get a little bit more exhaust up here on the top. You're kind of really painting with this. That's about how far I'm going to go with that one. I think it looks good. You can always add a little bit more, like I said. But you can see that was, well, I didn't even look at the clock, but I can look later. I bet it was less than 10 minutes. Makes a world of difference. For our next locomotive, I'm going to work on this B23-7 that the Wisconsin Short Line Railroad bought on the used locomotive market from the Louisville-Nashville. Here's a U28B that they picked up from the same place. This is kind of the look I'm looking for on the other one. A little bit more banged up. L&N ran it, put it through its paces, finally got new power, and then put it on the used locomotive market. So I'm going to go a little heavier on this one, but not as much as the U28 because it's not quite as old. So that's kind of the same concept we're looking for. Now, one thing I've used is the light gray here to give a kind of a faded look. And it's a similar technique. You kind of put it on in places that you want the locomotive to look like it's been faded from the sun. This may look kind of heavy, but it'll come off when I use the other brush on it. You can see on this one how much difference it makes in the sun-bleached yellow and the low hood. Remember, go ahead and look at photographs. You can just Google that type of locomotive. I'll have to glue that back on later. If you were going to do an L&N locomotive, just Google L&N U23B. You'll find plenty of pictures and give you a lot of ideas on what to look for. And like I said, if you think you've gone too far with this, you can get a Q-tip out. You can take quite a bit of that back off. And if you want to take it all off, a little soap and water or a little bit of alcohol will take that off. You see, I'm going to kind of scrub that in there, get that faded look. Kind of that sun-bleached look. What's really nice about this, again, like I said, it's not permanent, won't be sealed in. It's not like paint where you put your, where you're doing it with an airbrush, and whatever you've done, you're done. That's getting pretty close to where I want it. I think I'm going to add a little bit of rust here and there. So I shaved a little bit of this rust color off in here. And I'm going to get a little bit of alcohol on this and actually pick up some of the rust. This would be like rust coming out of the battery boxes that they have underneath the cab. Maybe some rust stains here and there on the fuel tank. You don't like that too much rust, you can really bring it down and mute it. Maybe they had a little bit of radiator leak here. Just do some random rust spots here and there. Then you can mute it, with a bigger brush. Take some of that off. Get it right to the point you want it. Just enough to put a little color in there. I think that looks pretty good. That's about how far I want to go. Maybe do a little bit of, just a tad of dirt on the roof. You can see how light that is. It's hardly noticeable, but there is just a hint of dirt on the roof. So I think that's a nice pair, and you can see that that maybe went about 15 minutes, start to finish. I really like that one. For the last locomotive, I'm going to weather up this GECX unit. The Atlantic Great Western picked up the lease on these LMXs after the Burlington Northern used them for quite a few years. This one I weathered a little heavier, put a little bit of white, light gray on there to act as a fade, got some rust and some dirt. This baby's been around, got a lot of miles on it, but hey, we're always power short on the AGW, so we needed something new. This one here, I modeled, there wasn't a real one like this, but I picked this locomotive up. I took the old lettering off and had some decals made for the GECX. It's a leasing company from General Electric. What I'm thinking is that this went in to GE and they rebuilt it, refurbished it, repainted it, and leased it out to the Atlantic Great Western. So I'm going to do this one fairly light, like that Jeep 15, like it's not been around too long on the system. Now I did modify this one paintbrush. I cut the bristles down so they're stiffer and I can get into these tighter spaces. You could probably go to Hobby Shop or Michael's, even Walmart, pick up some cheap brushes, cut the bristles down so they're makes them a lot stiffer. Now I'm going to use a longer soft bristle brush just to kind of get a little bit of road grime on the roof. I don't want to go too far. So I want to put a little bit more exhaust on this one, and then I think I'm going to call this one done. Well, I think that's going to be about it on that one. I like the looks of that. Just enough, brings out the detail. You can appreciate all the screens, the walkways. You can see the trucks better. Very cool. All right, I'll do a movie and we can watch some of these roll by. So here's a little overview on some of the techniques we had. Company again is Pan Pastels. I got 2 kits. Got the Rust and Earth and the grays, Grime and Soot. I'm going to look around for some other colors to experiment. So I think there's a lot of other techniques out there. I'm still learning too, so I'm sure there's some other people on YouTube I can learn some stuff from. Here's the 2 sets. There's room to, when you buy some extra sets, to put the other colors in there. I used 91% alcohol for thinning. For the little painting, I just put a little bit in the top of an old soda bottle and a little rust in there so you can paint. You can actually paint with this product. This also cleans your brushes to 91%. Experiment with your choice of different brushes. I got a wide variety here I picked up. I'm looking forward to trying out their sponges. I'm going to have to look on YouTube and see how people have used the sponges. I haven't even tried this on a freight car yet, but I'm really pleased. That's going to be an exciting thing to do too. So you get a chance, check out the Model Railroad Back Shop. I'm on Facebook and YouTube, and check out my Atlantic Great Western Railway on Facebook. And we'll pop some of these onto the layout and you can watch them run by. Thanks for watching. We're at Burlington, Wisconsin on my Atlantic Great Western. Here's a northbound freight from Milwaukee. It's crossing the Milwaukee Road and Sioux Line railroads here. These are the locomotives that I just weathered in the video. Train has a lot of cars for the Champion Paper Mill in Waukesha. We're in McHenry, Illinois. There's a southbound local out of Milwaukee. It's going to stop and pick up some cars at the Kellogg's plant here in McHenry. This is Ixonia, Wisconsin. It's on the Wisconsin Short Line Railroad. The Wisconsin Short Line took over an abandoned staging yard they had. They were going to renovate a co-op and a frac sand plant to add some industries and add some interchange to Atlantic Great Western. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.